Let's talk about my life during quarantine. Hello people of the world and 91 BTV. My name is Kevin Jackson and welcome to this episode of Kevin Makers Friendship and Love. So today we're going to be talking about what has happened over the past school year and talk about my life during quarantine and then what I expect for my 5th year of college. I do this every year. Hopefully this is not too long, but let's get started. When I first started after a crazy summer 2019, after being 21, I expected to do much better in school. You know, coming off of the that last school year, junior year, it was definitely bad and terrible. You know, I was put on academic probation and I had academic disqualification breathing down my neck. And, you know, everybody was out rooting for me. My well-being coach, my therapist, my pastor, my mom, everybody was rooting for me to do better because they knew that if I didn't do good for fall, I was going to be out. And, you know, being in college for that long, it's sad because, like, you're so close to graduating and, like, you could get kicked out. You know, but I was really striving to do my best, you know, and I had so many duties, you know, I had duties at work, you know, I had duties to my church, and I wanted to uphold those standards while, you know, trying to do good in class. And it was weird because, you know, coming straight out of like the crazy summer, you know, I was partying, going out like 3-4 times a week, and, you know, I definitely, you know, I was, you know, I wanted to put that on the back burner, and I definitely did, but I still went out. You know, I kind of transitioned away from going out to parties and going out to the club to going out with bars with my coworkers, and that kind of started in September of that year. So during the regular school year, I was trying to maintain my academics and also have a little bit of fun. So I started hanging out with some people from ISA or Indian Student Association, going to a couple of the events. Doing in the month of October, I went to the annual Halloween parties. Always still hanging out with my best friend that always goes out with me, and we dragged on another person with us too, who just started as a freshman, and I knew him from high school. So like we all went out, and it was definitely fun. That whole month was crazy, yo. I decided to pad my classes I was taking with some extracurriculars, you know. Some electives to help, you know, boost my GPA. So I took a social dance class where I basically learned about all the different dances of the world, merengue, salsa, you know, all that stuff. And I also took a beer class, which was definitely fun because my professor owned a brewery, and it was just dope learning from him. And then after I took the class, I actually visited him at the brewery and had some of his beer, which is actually pretty good, by the way. In November, it definitely got a little bit crazy because then I learned that the grades that I thought I was gonna get for the semester was not gonna be enough to save me from academic disqualification, and I started freaking the heck out. I'll talk about this in a later video, a little bit more expansive about my academic history at Cal Poly. To make a long story short, I thought I was supposed to have a semester GPA over the limit, but I realized in my case that it was supposed to be the cumulative GPA was supposed to be over the limit. And I did not think I was going to get that in my grades. So I started buckling down and going to my books, started praying to God. And, you know, during that time, you know, I was sleeping in my car. I didn't have a lot of money because I didn't get financial aid. And it was really tough. Work wasn't giving me a lot of hours. But in November, God really, later in that month, God really, you know, he showed out to me and he was like, hey, bro, don't you worry about the money. I'm going to bless you. So he really blessed me financially with stuff like that, you know. I started to link up with people in one of my coding classes, and we started, you know, doing the homework outside of class, you know, together, you know, sitting down in the library, and I got to meet a bunch of their friends, and their friends, I met their friends, you know. So like I started to form a new group of people that I could actually study with, and it was my first time that I met a group of people that I could not just go out with, or, you know, not just have as like, you know, the fun group of friends, but somebody that it was actually in my major that I could be successful in. During that winter break, it was more of a transition time because I realized that my grades weren't enough for the cut, and I also wanted to, you know, have fun, so and not be stressed out about, you know, the impending doom. So I decided to focus myself more into work and to some of my high school friends. So in work, I started hanging out with my coworkers a lot more, going out to the bars with them when we got off of work, which was definitely fun after those grueling 8-hour days. And I visited my friends at the colleges. So they're on the quarter system. So I just, I went to UC Irvine, UCLA, just all trying to have fun while I can. Then God really showed out to me. And that's when my GPA went through the roof. It turns out that I got grade forgiveness above the limit that I was supposed to for the classes that I retook in fall semester. And that really pushed me over the cumulative limits so I can re-qualify for admission. And it all happened within 3 days. I looked at my transcripts. I realized it was over the limit. I contacted my probation officer and was like, yo, guess what? I got above the limit. So then she filled out the form. I came to school. I filled out the form, and they emailed me back like 2 days later and said, hey, you're reinstated for Cal Poly. And that was pretty big for me. I really got blessed right there, because with my GPAs from fall, it didn't look like it, but because the grade forgiveness exceeded the limit, I got through, and I was just really happy about that. So I came into spring semester with like a great attitude. I was like, yo, I'm gonna hang out with the friends that I made at the last part of, fall semester, and I'm definitely gonna study with them so I don't slip up in my classes, don't do bad. I was gonna take a much lighter load and a lot of extra electives to help pad the GPA in case anything happened in just the 2 major classes that I was taking. And one of the major classes was definitely easy. The other one was going to be a little bit more difficult because I had that teacher previously. And I was like, yo, if I get in the books, if I really focus down, I'm going to achieve it. But then at the same time, I was like, yo, near in April and May, I'm going to go on my trips like I did last year, which was pretty all right. I was able to manage school and the trips at the same time, which was visit my friends at their colleges doing like the craziest times. So I went to Santa Barbara in 2019. I went to Davis in 2019 and see my friends that went there. And during those times, they had crazy. It's like the school's like biggest outreach day. So it was definitely fun during those times. So I was gonna try and emulate that, redo that for spring 2020. But going on with everything that was happening, basically January I was doing well. February I was doing well again, and I had some really big events that was happening too. Had my 22nd birthday, and the best event of the year, my friend's wedding. That was crazy. An Ethiopian wedding, so fun. And then everything started to slow down when I said, hey, for the month of March, I'm gonna take a break from this life, going out. We're gonna focus down, and then in April and May, when I go and visit my friends, I'm gonna get into it back again. But then quarantine happened. It was Tuesday, March 10th. That was when I figured out that the NBA was shutting down, Disneyland was shutting down, Harvard College and a lot of other colleges around were shutting down due to coronavirus. And at the beginning of January, I was like, yo, coronavirus, like, it's kind of like Ebola, like, it's probably going to be in those countries and not in the US. Then it hit Italy in February, and I was like, yo, that's big, yo. I definitely hope it don't come over here. But it's different when you're in the middle of the situation and you're and versus like you're seeing it. It's a totally different experience. And then in March, when it finally hit like America, it was crazy. I definitely knew on that Tuesday that my whole life was going to change, and that I probably wouldn't be back to a sense of normalcy for a while. And that's definitely what happened. The Wednesday, my school shut down. The Friday, my church said, we're not going back. And then on that same Friday, work said, we're going to operate totally different. On that Friday after the 13th, Friday the 13th, I watched the movie Contagion. And that really changed my perspective on the whole topic and made me take it seriously. And this is where we enter the 5 stages of quarantine. Number 1, acceptance or acknowledgement. It was that Friday that I realized that we were going to be in this for a while, I knew technically on that Wednesday that like I was gonna see my friends at school for a long time, so I was like, yo, I'm gonna see you next year, whether that's 2021 or fall 2020. You know, I'll see you then. You know what I mean? But on that Friday when I saw the movie, I was like, yo, we're gonna be in this for a minute. Toilet paper was running out, and I was like, shoot, I gotta go out and buy like everything. I went to the store. People were wearing masks before they said to wear masks, so I was like, yo, this is crazy. All right, shoot. Then after 2 weeks later, I start to get into the emotional stage, you know, and that was where like I realized that the lockdown was coming, and that, you know, places were closing, and, you know, stay-at-home orders were coming, and I was like, yo, this is getting real serious, yo. This is like this movie. But I also experienced withdrawals, and this is withdrawals from never seeing my friends again for a long time. It's like, you know, like some of them are about to graduate, and I was never gonna see them after that, you know, or like some of them were just moving and I would never see them after that. So it was kind of getting sad. I was, you know, missing out on the trips I was gonna have to see my friends at their colleges. And that was making me kind of sad, you know. I was feeling a little bit of depression for sure, you know. I was like, yo, I'm more isolated, I'm more alone in this. There's no one that I can go out to. There's no one that I can really contact, you know. I was a little bit slipping into the alcohol a little bit more because I was taking a wine class, so I was slipping into that. But then I got out of that in stage 3, and that was self-care. And that was probably in mid-April, I would say. I was more focusing on what I can do for myself. I gotta take advantage of this time that I have. I better use it to improve myself or to learn new skills. So I started learning how to cook, you know. I started, you know, doing a podcast, you know, It's Corona Time podcast with all my friends, you know. I started doing FaceTime calls with them, trying to communicate with them on, you know, like a weekly or monthly basis, you know, because I had a roster of friends that I said I was gonna contact probably like one person a day, and I'm gonna go through that list and start again next month. So I had something prepared so I wouldn't be too isolated, too lonely in this quarantine. I started to, you know, develop a better relationship with my mom during this time, because I would always go out and never see her. So I was like, you know what, she's staying at home too, working from home. Let me try and see if I can better this relationship. I purchased Netflix, which I haven't even used in 3 years, to watch all the shows that my friends were recommending and all the shows that I saw trailers for that I really wanted to watch. Then after probably a month, I began the stage of bargaining, and that's number 4. That's where it's like, you know what, I think I could go out like once a week to the grocery store to get food. And, you know, from that it slowly leans into maybe I could go out to shop at my favorite store, which is Best Buy, you know, for some technology, you know. Maybe I could take a walk, you know, maybe I could ride on my skateboard, you know. Maybe I can go, you know, outside to hang out with a friend. One time, you know, when the George Floyd protest started to take off, I was like, you know what, maybe I can go to like 2 protests a week, self-isolate for 3 days in between, and then go out again, you know, because, you know, Black Lives Matter for sure. But, you know, you start to begin that phase where it's like, if I go out maybe 1 time a week, or like if I go out with somebody who I know that's been tested for coronavirus, or if I self-isolate, maybe I could, you know, do more adventurous things. And I see how that could be good, but it's also like, I don't know about that. You know, still it's best to wear a mask and stay safe at home. And I was on that path for a while, you know, May, June, July. I was on that for a long time, you know, but it started to slowly increase as I started to bargain. Not, you know, with the government, but with myself personally. Maybe I can just go out maybe like 5 times a week and, you know, stay inside 2 days. But then it gets to the last stage, the 5th stage, which is regress. Which is saying, you know what, I don't even think this is real. I don't even know if this is true. I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna hang out with my people. I'm just gonna do what I gotta do. You know, it's a hot girl summer. It's a city boy summer. I'm gonna do what I have to do. So I'm out here wilding. I'm going to parties. I'm going to the club. I'm going to the bar. I don't care about anyone else's safety but myself. I'm not even gonna wear a mask. I definitely haven't got to the extreme part of this stage, but I would say maybe going 1 and 2 places without a mask, or hanging out with a group of people, which could bring coronavirus to me, I have done, even though it's a really bad idea. But But I feel like that's a stage that we all get to after being in quarantine for around 5 to 6 months. So now school's starting back again, and I'm going back to stage 1, which is acceptance and acknowledge that I'm staying inside for the good of everyone else that is out. You know, especially the first responders and the emergency workers and essential workers. So that's what we're about to come to. Especially now that school is closed, you know, it's just online only. And at the saying that a second wave might happen, concur with flu season, it's imperative that we all stay home. But that's just a little bit about that. What I expect to happen for my 5th year and hopefully my last year of college is, you know, I expect to achieve a work, church, you know, school balance. Work, church, school balance. You know, I got a new job doing web design with the school. So that's all online. School's on online. Church is on online right now until October. So when that all starts back again, as we start to move forward, when my main job calls me back in, I'm gonna have to be able to balance all these things together, you know, and protect myself against COVID, of course. Next will probably be adventures. You know, with all this free time online until October, it's, you know, it's like I haven't got out the house in a minute. So maybe we go back to the bargaining stage of, you know, I might, you know, go on a trip in my car somewhere and come back, but stay inside the car, make sure nothing happens to me personally. That's what I'm seeing about adventures. Have fun on Zoom and meet up with people, you know, that are you know, quarantining, that don't have coronavirus, that have been tested for that. You know, just trying to trying to have fun the best you can. You know, have Zoom calls with classmates. You know, trying to go over the homework, maybe the test, and, you know, just to get to know them a little bit more too. You know, still socialize in this middle. And that's basically it, guys. Those are the stages of quarantine. That's what happened last past school year, and that's what I'm looking forward, expecting for this new school year. Y'all take care.